great opportunity to welcome in the new Assistant Town Manager of the town of Hilton Head Island, Josh Gruber, not an unfamiliar face around Beaufort County after your years as Assistant and then Interim Manager of Beaufort County. Welcome to the island. Are we actually going to get to welcome the family here at some point?
Absolutely. I was going to say my wife's been working on the island for a number of years now, and so now both of us are down here, and so every little bit of us just keeps moving further and further south in the county.
All right. You've been on the job a couple of months. Steve Riley told us a couple of months ago that when you got here, he wanted you to do what they call in football terms self-scouting, kind of take a look, a different pair of eyes, taking a look at town government and how it operates. Any initial impressions? I don't want to ask you for a final report yet, but
sure.
Any initial impression?
Still a work in progress, still getting a chance to evaluate and look at people. But I'll tell you, one of the things, and this is certainly by no means surprising, Steve runs a fantastic operation, and Greg Deloach, who is his assistant manager for a very long time, left things in absolutely great shape. And so the environment that I'm coming into is an environment that people are functioning well. There's a lot of great stuff going on. And what I see is my ability to come in there with maybe some new ideas that hadn't been thought about and just contribute to where they've already taken the organization, and maybe see if we can just take it even that much further.
All right, a couple of particular action items going on. A lot of talk about the Celebration Park construction project and whether you're going to be able to shoehorn it in and around tourist season.
Yes.
You've worked with construction projects. They never go the way they're supposed to. How are we going to make this one work?
Well, I will start. The construction projects typically go as well as the contractor that you have on board.
Okay.
So if you have a good contractor, a lot of times you can have a great schedule. One of the last projects that I worked on was with the city of Beaufort and the Boundary Street project. And that was a very large, very complex construction project, and it actually came in under budget and on time. And so it is possible, it can happen. And so one of the things that we want to be cognizant about is keeping the public informed of the process and the progress that's being made on these projects, because we do have a tight time frame. We gave the contractor a notice to proceed back in the beginning of September, and they're supposed to be wrapped up with phase one, which is all the road construction, in spring of 2019. So they are on the clock, and certainly there are things to take into account as variables such as storms and some of the other stuff that we've seen come through here. But with the right contractor on board, we're very confident that we can achieve those timelines.
All right. The other thing I want to ask you about is the Highway 278, the transportation sales tax. It's got a fancy big name, but basically, do we, the town, taxpayers in the county, paying an extra penny in sales tax, basically to build us some new bridges? Where are you on that project? Are you a supporter of it?
I am, and it's because we know that there are issues that need to be addressed out there. We know what the concerns are. There's a lack of capacity through the corridors. Anybody who's driven across those bridges, either in the morning rush hour or in the evening rush hour.
Including you, twice a day.
Absolutely. I am now personally impacted by this. But certainly you have firsthand experience and knowledge of those people that because of the volume of traffic that's trying to get onto and off of the islands, and I tell people that, you know, for people that don't know, 8 out of 10 days a week, there's actually more traffic on 278 trying to get onto and off of the island than there is on I-95 crossing the Georgia-South Carolina border.
Wow.
So that's the volume of traffic that we're dealing with. And ultimately what ends up happening when the traffic can't get through there efficiently, it starts bottlenecking, people start making poor driving decisions, and then accidents start happening. And that's when people get hurt. And that's what we want to try to avoid. And so in order to be able to make progress in putting improvements in that area that are going to help with the capacity concerns, we have to raise local money that we can then go to the state and the federal government to maximize that contribution for what we anticipate right now is probably going to be about a $240 million project.
All right.
And so if you break,
Go ahead.
If you break down what we're asking for from the voters, we're looking for $120 million in 1 cent sales tax funding. If you break that down even further and say that about 50% of every dollar comes from a tourist or a visitor, that brings it down to about $60 million. And then if you look at that and you say about half of that's spent on Hilton Head, the half of that's spent the rest of Beaufort County, we're asking for about $30 million from Hilton Head residents in order to get a $240 million improvement project.
Sounds like a good deal there when you put it that way. All right. We appreciate the time, Josh. Thanks so much. We always learn something when Steve comes in. We have found that with you as well. Welcome to the island, and we look forward to talking to you down the road.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.